Hey everyone, my name is Claudia Alexander, and I'm continuing with my new series called Culture Therapy to Go, which is an extension of my blog, Culture Therapy with Claudia Alexander, located at culturetherapyjazz.com. And this week, I wanted to share on the topic of quitting, right? Those magic words, I quit. What do you do when you get into this headspace and you've just had enough? You're done. You've had enough, right? And it happens to everybody as an artist or creative, whether you're at the beginning of the relationship with your craft, or whether you've been down the road a little bit with it and you're moving along the creative journey and you just get to these points where you're just done. I've had enough. Like you're looking at your craft like, this isn't serving my needs. This relationship isn't serving my needs. I'm out. I'm leaving, right? I can do better than this. I don't have to put up with this. Right? and you're leaving, and that's normal. Whenever there's an impasse or frustration, it's gonna happen. But how do you move through it, right? It's tough. And I was just looking in scripture just for a touch point on just perspective on how to handle this, right? And was looking at the story of creation specifically and looking at just the Creator creating humanity. And he puts us at the epicenter of all of his creation and creates us in his own image. And by proxy, we have a certain level of power because we're in his image. But along the storyline, he's checking us and looking at us like, I don't know about this, man. I'm about to cancel this. I'm going to cancel this. I mean, they don't realize their power. They're misusing their power. And now as a result, it's causing a level of disruption to the whole ecosystem of the heavens and the earth. And it just the dysfunction, I can't even be around it. I'm going to have to cancel this. I'm done with y'all. And certain levels in the story or certain points in the story specifically where Moses was leading the Israelites to the promised land. And he had to intervene on the Israelites' behalf and lay prostrate before the Creator for 40 days and really plead on the promise of the covenant that he made with the Israelites towards leading them to this land and really plead the potential of the promise for the people and of this covenant. And I think a lot of times as artists and creatives, we have to do the same. We have to plead or intercede and plead on the promise of our gifts. And this takes like the form of the practice, or this can be done by practicing immersion and objectivity. And objectivity and taking a step back and looking at what you're creating and why, and just looking at the firmament of what you're doing and just really taking a close eye without any judgment, any emotion, and just really looking at the nuts and bolts of what you're creating, what you're making, what you're performing, how you're executing artistically or business-wise, and just really taking a look. And then also just artistically just immersing yourself in your gift, and maybe there's a hiccup, a break in the synapses as to why you're not breaking through that level of expression. And as a touch point, I wrote a blog about this, the practice of immersion, May 2019. I invite you to check it out on my website, culturetherapyjazz.com. But I touched on just the practice of immersion as it relates to Bill Evans, the famous jazz pianist and composer, and just how he utilized that practice throughout his career and the benefits of it. And just being able to woodshed and really get down into the depths of your creative expression and just get a better grasp and feel of the totality of your gift and just really get in there and cultivate and fix and realign what's wrong or what's out of connection or disconnected rather. And I just wanted to share personally, just in all transparency, want to be transparent, right? Just in doing this, like this video and my blog, all these things are relatively new for me. And I said, I quit a grip like 50 million 11 times. For real, I quit. I've said it so many times. And just for me, that practice of objectivity, I'll just step off of social media at times and just kind of lay everything just on the firmament, all my thoughts, just to really see if they're really real. And sometimes you just have to encourage yourself, like David, just encourage yourself, or just remain objective and just look at it. Just, is this really a real concern? Just look at how you're executing. How can you improve on it? If you're missing a building block, who can you go to? What reference can you consult to fix it? Another element to just my life in general, in terms of just moving parts, is just therapy. Just in dealing with trauma. I've touched on that in my IG story and in my blogs, and just domestic violence, and just the overlay of all these things, and just recuperating and getting into a place of functionality myself as an artist. And historically, I'm working on this in therapy. It seems like every time I've reached down for my staff of my gift, I get bitten by a snake, or the staff itself bites me. And just working through therapy just to understand just all the things that come into play with that dialogue in my head, and overcoming that. And then just the practice of therapy is just like sucking your own poison out from that snake bite, just like Paul on the island of Malta. You got to do the work to accompany the prayer and the faith and the Creator, coming into covenant with your creativity. And then you got to do the work underneath that to make sure that you're not overwhelmed by circumstances or experiences. And you're doing all the work of, for me, that would be the therapy and the mindfulness and all of those practices, and understanding triggers and things of that nature, and then objectivity, and then the practice of immersion. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful. My name is Claudia Alexander. I look forward to speaking with you next week. My website again, culturetherapyjazz.com. And I look forward to speaking with you in the near future. Have a great week.